Alright, welcome back to vlog number 2. I guess I should start this off with an intro song. Don't scream or shout. See, I don't know all the lyrics to that song because I'm a melody listener. Come on, man. Don't bash me. I just like the way it sounds, you know? It can be freaky or whatnot. I just like the way it sounds. My boy Rito, he's always telling me how when he gets inside my car, he always hearing some freaky ass music. And you know, I mean, it's not that I'm a freak at heart, you know, it's just, it sounds good. You know, I don't be listening to the lyrics like that. Anyway, today I kind of want to talk about my journey into fitness, and you know, I also want to like see if I can maybe help you guys get to, you know, like a dream physique, or help you feel more confident within yourself, or maybe it's your journey into fitness and maybe you want to hit the gym and you just don't know where to start. So for me, it started back in high school. You know, I've always been a skinny fat person. I've always been someone who's skinny from the arms, skinny from the legs, but for some reason I just always catch fat in my midsection. And you know, so you could look at me in clothes and you would think that I'm just some scrawny kid, but I take my shirt off and I'm embarrassed because I don't have any, like, I'm not skinny, you know. I had to suck my stomach in and walk around in high school, you know, just to feel confident. And you know, I mean, I don't think, like, that's honestly a sad way to go. I think it's sad, like, for anybody that sucks their stomach in, or anybody that like has to pull their shirt away from their skin. I mean, I understand that feeling and I know it's uncomfortable, and how can you feel confident doing those things, you know? So that's why I'm making this video, because I just want to, you know, share my knowledge, share what I've went through, my trials and tribulations. So yeah, it just started in high school, and I remember thinking one summer, I was like, all right, so I'm gonna go into high school this year and I'm gonna change. I'm gonna be more builder and I'm gonna get some abs, you know? So I would stay here in my house, and I had some dumbbells that my dad had, because my dad used to, you know, do some bicep curls every morning, you know? And I grabbed inspiration from that too, because, you know, this man would just wake up and pump some iron, you know? But yeah, so I'd grab those dumbbells and I'd start working out. I'd start doing push-ups. I remember getting sore off of 10 push-ups, you know, because like I said, skinny fat, you have no muscle stored anywhere. And I remember doing 7-minute ab workouts, you know, do this for 30 days and you'll have a 6-pack. And yeah, I mean, I felt like, at the time I felt like those things were working, but you know, of course, like the progress photos and everything like that told me otherwise. But I wanted to know that I was doing something right. I mean, my eating habits were just the same. I'd probably eat like once or twice a day, but I would snack throughout the day. I'm a big snacker, so that's probably the one thing that was like ruining my progress. It doesn't help that the one time a day I was eating, it was like greasy foods, or, you know, I'm Hispanic. I love quesadillas, I love tacos, I love tortas, I love all that stuff, you know. But my favorite food is quesadillas, so, you know, of course I'm smashing quesadillas anytime I got. Yeah, high school just passed. I never got abs or anything like that. I remember the year of 2020 doing research on how to get a 6-pack. I was doing hella research, you know. I was YouTube University, just looking through thousands of YouTube videos, you know, thousands of ways to lose weight and whatnot. Like, I was skinny fat, but I'm telling you, like, skinny fat is probably like one of the, you know, hardest positions to get out of, because you look skinny with clothes on, you take your clothes off and you're unconfident, you know, because you got like, you're chubby in your midsection. And so that's why it was always a problem for me. I didn't want to go and eat more, you know, and gain that muscle, because then I don't want to risk being any bigger than, you know, I already felt like I was. So the solution for me was to cut down, you know, but also build muscle. And so I would see things like, you know, that you need to be in your caloric maintenance, you know, meaning you need to eat the set amount of calories for your height and your weight. And that caloric maintenance thing, I mean, honestly, I just wanted progress. I wanted progress. That caloric maintenance thing, that main gaining thing, I mean, it works supposedly, but it takes months, you know. And I don't know about you, but I value my time. So I came up with the decision that, you know what, I'm gonna cut. So keep in mind, this is 2020 and I'm doing my research, and you know, I'm trying to figure out what are the best ways to cut. I'm doing my research. I'm doing the calorie maintenance calculator, you know, learning my deficit and whatnot. And you know, it's just, I could never stay consistent. You know, 2021, same thing. Couldn't stay consistent. 2021, I would go through periods where I would go on a cut, but after 2 weeks of dieting, I would go and I'd indulge in a lot of foods, a lot of high calorie foods, and I would end up being bigger than I was before, you know. So I just kept doing that, and that six pack was getting further and further away from me. So it was about, I believe, 2022 when I took my first cut seriously. My caloric maintenance, I believe at the time it was around 2,500. So in order to be in a calorie deficit, you need to eat less calories than your caloric maintenance. So I went like I'm gonna be real, I didn't even do the 200, 300 calories below maintenance. I did that 1 pound a week process, which would mean 500 calories less than your caloric maintenance. So I was eating about 2,000 calories a week, you know. The hardest part was, you know, letting my dad know. You know, my dad cooks meals and everything like that. He's the one who has kept me fed throughout all my years. But it was letting my dad know that, hey, I'm not gonna be eating your food anymore. I'm getting real serious. I wanna change. I wanna look different, you know. And he respected it right off the bat. Honestly, I have a supportive dad, so he respected it right off the bat. And I had to go and buy my own groceries, you know. Had to go buy my own protein. Had to go and buy my own vegetables and, you know, things that I had no idea how to start. But all you gotta do is start, you know. You can sit here and you can think about the perfect diet. You can sit here and think about what you want to eat, how much times you're going to the gym. You can let all these factors stop you, slow you down, and wait for the perfect time. But let's be real, there's no perfect time to start. Oh shit, you're back already? So where was I? Yeah, these kind of things can slow you down, waiting for the perfect time. So you just need to go ahead and start. Honestly, that's the best piece of advice that I can give anyone, is to just start, you know. Whether that's hitting the gym, whether that's getting a diet, or even like for my instance, like starting a vlog. I have no idea how to do a perfect vlog. I don't know how to grab attention of more viewers. I don't know how to speak in front of a camera without getting nervous or shy or anything like that. But I mean, if I learned anything from those dieting stages, is that, you know, time is gonna keep going regardless. So it's better to just start, honestly. Even if you go blindfolded, you know, you'll start to learn the process along the way. And yeah, so that's what I did. started eating 2,000 calories a week. I did more research, and I'd find that, you know, if you're hitting the gym, you need to make sure that you're intaking enough protein to build muscle and also lose fat. You know, you got to be satiated because it's a diet. You know, of course you're gonna get hungry. Of course you're gonna feel like you want to eat certain foods, like, you know, like quesadillas or chilies or something. Of course, I mean, but the number one way to feel satiated is with protein. You know, my first cut was about like 12 weeks, and you know, I had one goal in mind, and that was just to have abs. You know, I know your goal can be something like this. You want to lose the love handles, you want to build some muscle, you know. And this video is mainly for, you know, overweight people who hold on to fat in different areas, and especially my skinny fat guys, because this is what worked for me. But yeah, I want to kind of like explain how you can lose fat, and I want to do that by like bringing up the maintenance calculator, and I want to show you what's important and what's not. So I'm gonna write that down, and hopefully you guys can see this. But let's see. Calorie deficit. Calorie deficit. If you want to lose fat, if you want a six pack, you know, if you want your jawline, if you want anything like that, calorie deficit. You know, there's a lot of people that know that already, but there's some people that don't. You know, I know people who, you know, would drink like one Herbalife shake a day and then eat like chicken and broccoli for dinner and expect to maintain that throughout their weeks of dieting. To me, that's just not sustainable. You know, that's like torturing yourself. You're gonna get hangry a lot, you know. But calorie deficit is the way to go. So in order to be in a calorie deficit, you need to find your caloric maintenance. Caloric maintenance. How do you find your caloric maintenance? You search it up on a calculator online, okay? So search up calorie maintenance calculator. We'll put weight loss. Okay. Calorie calculator. It's gonna ask for your age. For me, I'm 22, 5'10". Right now I weigh about like 169. So right now I'm not like peak physique or anything like that, because I was away for about a month for work, and I was not eating the best foods. I was not lifting at all. And so, I mean, you know, I just gotta backtrack and get back to where I was. So, you know, I guess in a way, I'm doing the process as well as you guys, getting ready for summer. Activity. You don't want to go too high for like the extremely active or very active. For me, I'm just gonna go ahead and put like, let's say light activity. Let's say moderate. Moderate, it says exercise 4 to 5 times a week. I mean, that's about what I do, so I'm gonna put moderate. All right, so to maintain weight for me, 2,597 calories a day. You know, of course, we don't have enough patience on the dieting, especially if this is your first time. So the max I would say that you should be in a deficit is no more than 500 calories, because 500 calories less than your maintenance, that's like about a pound a week. So the weight loss for me, a pound a week would be 2,097. Okay, so caloric maintenance 2,597 going down to 2,097. All right, and the way you can track your calories is MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal has been with me for like years, since 2020, since I tried my first cut. But that's the best way to go. You don't want to do 2 pounds a week. 2 pounds a week for me would be 1,500, and to me, in my opinion, that's just not sustainable, especially if you're trying to go for something like I said, my first cut was 12 weeks, you know. So imagine eating 1,500 calories a week for 12 weeks. I mean, you'd lose probably about like 24 pounds plus a little bit more because of water weight, but I don't know, I get hangry, so I would always do that 1 pound a week. And whenever you do that 1 pound a week, you want to make sure you emphasize the protein, because protein keeps you satiated. Protein is the thing you're gonna need if you're hitting the gym, because protein helps build that muscle. Protein goes inside of those micro muscle tears that you make when you're working out, which is why you're feeling sore and everything of that nature. That's why you need to emphasize protein, because like I said, protein helps build the muscle. So protein, what I was doing is I was getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if I weigh 168 pounds, I'm gonna get 168 grams of protein. Now, as for carbs and fats, I mean, carbs, obviously those aren't as important as the protein. Carbs and fats, you can kind of alternate in what days. You know, fats will help you feel a little bit more satiated, but you want to get the right fats. You don't want to get no saturated fats or anything like that. The fats that I would do in order to make me feel more satiated is things like avocado, eggs, you know, I mean, you can do nuts. I've never really done nuts like that, but you can do milk too, but I prefer almond milk because it's lower calorie, you know. So if you are gonna get fats, I say avocado and eggs are probably gonna be your best friend. Peanut butter too if you love peanut butter, but I mean, I could live without peanut butter. Proteins, you want to get lean proteins, 96.4 ground beef, 93.7 ground beef. I'd recommend 93.7 just because it has 7% fat, so that'll help you be more satiated. 96, anything that's lower and lean, like let's say 80-20, you can do it. It's just the fats are gonna increase that calorie intake, you know. Chicken, fish, lean proteins. You can get protein shakes. For me, I like the Ghost protein, you know. Protein bars, Bear Bells are the best. You can grab a protein from cheese as well, but cheese is also a little bit higher in fat. You know, yeah, I mean, chicken, ground beef, steak, Now, if you're gonna eat steak, try to go for a leaner cut, like sirloin or flank. Ribeye has a lot of fat. New York strip has a little bit of fat too. But if you're gonna eat steak and you're trying to minimize your calories as much as possible, sirloin or flank is your best bet. And it's also cheaper. So steak, I mean, you can throw eggs in there too. Egg whites, they're a little bit you know, lower in calories, lower in fat, and it's just a lot of protein. So egg whites, you can eat egg whites. Me personally, I'd rather eat a whole egg because of the fat, you know, because the egg fat is good for you. So eggs, cheese, yogurt, protein. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, carbs. What do I do for carbs? Carbs, I used to do a lot of white rice. You can do white rice. I just don't do it anymore. Not that I hate white rice. I love white rice, but I prefer potatoes. That's another thing. Potatoes, man. Potatoes would be the best bang for your buck because those are, you know, they have a lot of volume and they're so low calorie that it'll help you feel a little bit more satiated, more energized throughout the day. Potatoes, what else? Rice cakes. I mean, you can do like a low-cal tortilla. I've done low-cal tortillas a couple times. Low-cal bread. Vegetables. And fruit. So this is for carbs. I don't know if you guys can see that, I'm sorry, but those are the carb sources that you want to be intaking. I mean, the whole point that we're doing a calorie deficit diet is because we're trying to lose weight. Of course, I mean, you can go and eat McDonald's or Taco Bell or anything like that as long as you can fit it within your calories. I wouldn't recommend it because you obviously cannot eat a lot of that. You gotta eat less of that. So it's like, it doesn't make no sense to fast the whole day just for a Big Mac meal or anything like that. You know, I'd say you just need to try to learn to step away from that kind of stuff. Fats, like I said, eggs. That's like such a W source of fat. Avocado, eggs, avocados, nuts, peanut butter. Anybody that tells you that, you know, they need to eat peanut butter for protein, man, peanut butter doesn't really give that much protein. It probably gives about like 6 grams of protein for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. You probably get 6 grams of protein, and you get like, I want to say 7 or 8 grams of fat, and that brings it up to about 150 calories. You know, I mean, you can go ahead, but obviously don't overindulge in peanut butter, and it's not a good source of protein. So fats, we can go ahead and put cheese in there too. As you can see, I don't have a lot of fats on there, but that's because, like I said, the emphasis is protein. You just fit whatever you can eat in that day as much as you can, and try to emphasize protein shakes, protein bars, lean meats. If you want to go and eat chicken and lettuce throughout the whole day and then indulge in some ice cream that night, that's fine. you can do that, because chicken and lettuce, I mean, that's probably going to average about 300 to 400 calories a day, depending on how much ounces of chicken you eat. But you can do that. You can make it work. The whole point of a calorie deficit is to tailor it to yourself. You know, whatever works for me might not work for you, but one thing that is for sure is calorie deficit is the only way you can lose fat. You know, you can go and try to run as much as you want to. You can go try to spend 3 hours in the gym, and you might burn 1,000 calories or whatnot. But if you're not changing the way you eat, you're not gonna look the way you want to. And that's what I learned after years of working out, after years of trying different foods, you know, different diets, and that's just what worked for me. So I just wanted to share my knowledge onto you guys. As for hitting the gym, honestly, if the gym intimidates you, you know, so much to the point where like you're getting nervous and everything like that, you can hit up like a private gym. Like my girlfriend, she goes to Hot Works, and that works for her because it's like a sauna gym. She goes and she gets her workouts done, and she's burning calories off, and she's a little bit more private, and no one's judging her. No one's, you know, like, that's a good example of a gym to go to if you're a first timer. Or you can even try to pay for a private gym, but then private gyms just be a little bit pricey. For me, I mean, I went into the gym and it took a while until I got, you know, comfortable, because you got to learn the forms, you got to work with lightweight, you got to deal with other people. It's not all that bad when you realize that nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, they don't care about you as much as you care about you. So just yeah, I guess that about sums up, you know, today's video. I just wanted to get on here and speak about my fitness journey, and now I'm doing vlogs. You know, I am very passionate about fitness. I know it's hard to like see it in my face, because it's just how my face is, man. But I'm actually a chill dude. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I have for today's vlog. See you on the next one.